Welcome, Ardina. I'm glad that we got to connect again today and, gearing up to talk about everything work trucks. And I guess you know that the big dance, right, for the work truck world is right around the corner. And so we're just counting down the days. And I was hoping from your perspective and your background, because you've touched the work truck industry in a couple different places, right? So between both of us, maybe we can just kind of break down the reasons why it's so important, to go to this event, the Work Truck Week.
Yeah, and thank you for the time. It's always a pleasure getting to speak with you and talking everything work truck. I think it's a wonderful conversation that is always ongoing for us and everyone else involved.
Yeah, it's I've been for several years, right? And it's, first we kind of make it just about the trucks, right? And it really, I think as you just learn and grow in the space and maybe in roles, that this is more than just showcasing vehicles, right? This is just a covering of everything, ideas, technologies, partnerships, and really just where we kind of lay the groundwork for our next steps, whether it be individually as people or, companies, connections, and just why it's the time to be excited.
Right. Work truck week.
It's tough stuff.
Work truck week really highlights and showcases, the depth of the commercial industry as a whole. It's a great opportunity to build connections and to continue to foster the entire sector as a community. So it's the biggest week in commercial automotive, that's for sure, all year,
Yeah. Well, if you just think about NTEA, Work Truck Week, all of that is one. These trucks that are work trucks, right? Everything work truck, they're built for a purpose. A lot of this stuff is customized to meet a job need. And there's just key components. And even though those components might change faces, right? But you have the chassis, the dealer, upfitters, and then all the other things that you might tack onto it. And it's just, I think, probably the number one reason that people go is just to see what's new, right? Like what's out there, what's new, and especially with technology. So I think for me, it is where are we going with technology? So visiting the people that are familiar with, getting to check in things that maybe you're not familiar with, lots of press releases, right? Lots of new product that people are bringing to the market.
Right. And when I think of Work Truck Week, I think of enrichment, like you said, it's the opportunity to really take a look at where the industry is going, to look at what's ahead. Work Truck Week is a great place for unveilings. We get press conferences from the OEMs, from pundits in the industry who just take the time to lift the curtain on what's ahead for the sector. And I think it's a wonderful time really to just get a grip on what you know and then open your eyes to what's to come.
And all the swag, right?
Right. You get to walk away with goodies. It's a win-win.
Yeah. Well, I think that everybody starts talking about it, you get amped up. Like I think last week or the week before, my inbox started getting pinged, hey, are you going to Work Truck Week? What do you think? Have you heard anything? And they had, I think I'm correct on this, I think they set a record last year for attendance at the Work Truck Week. So I think everybody's like pretty excited about that because the space is pushing forward, right? Like there's just a lot of new things out there. But once you get in that environment, right, and everybody's there, it's just about relationships, right? I mean, you can be standing when they start their announcements at their booth, just who you stand next to, right? Like you just notice their badge or whatever they're branded, and you just start having conversations. And it's so crazy because you might not think that your paths touch, But maybe the next day or a few minutes later, it'd be you and I talking. And I'd be like, well, Ardina, I don't know about that, but I just talked to a gentleman or I just talked to a lady, or have you seen whatever at this booth? Have you been by there? This is really cool. This is the first, it's just a lot of excitement and it's fun, but it's definitely a way to insights, learn, grow, keep up on emerging trends, right? Because this is where we would see them first, right?
Yeah.
Maybe before it's in the field or actually if you're in the dealership working with a client that might be executing some of these things, but this is where we learn about them. A lot of safety stuff, right? So important in what we do. Again, anything from ambulances to fire trucks, gosh, they could do anything, right? It could be a plumber, a HVAC. I mean, there's just so much of this show, upfitters, distributors, the chassis, the truck, regulations, right? New rules. I don't know, just a lot of different things. It's always excited. And I think it's just a golden opportunity to seriously in the dealership to position your dealership as a way forward, right? And want to grow with you as a business, but most importantly, as an individual.
Right. I mean, talk about the room to be in, to be able to say, I know a guy, I know a gal, the opportunity to meet somebody who you normally, like you said, wouldn't cross paths with. Now you're there next to them with the opportunity to introduce yourself, get to know them. And it really does foster relationships that will help any business thrive, really, no matter what end you are.
Yeah, it does. Because it's a small world inside of right? It's big, but at the same time, it's small. So once you build those relationships, people are really willing to help you, right? Like it's not like some other environments that it's just cutthroat. Nobody wants to collaborate. I think that the importance of us having to have commercial vehicles, right? I mean, that's how we have the things that we want. I mean, everything in our office that we're looking at, the computers, right? All those were on the back of some type of work truck.
Right.
Right. So that's where the willingness to, make things happen. But I think since EV, right, started being a big scene, it's to meet those innovators and leaders of the new spaces. That's what's driving our industry forward, and listen to some of that. And that's on my list this year, right? To see how emerging data and artificial intelligence, how that's changing things to help people make better decisions, right? Like how is that helping us overall? I mean, I think about it in my day-to-day life, but I think that I don't believe we're going backwards on that. So I'm excited to hear those things.
Right. It really gets me thinking, because when you think of work trucks, that's just the surface. This is really the bringing back the curtain, seeing what's on the back end of the entire community as a whole. I mean, everybody's there, upfitters, technology within technology, even down to the smallest component of something that's on the work truck for the end user. You're going to cross paths with somebody there that's got their hands in stuff like that and has a wealth of knowledge regarding any component that you may or may not need. I even think it's a great opportunity if you have lingering questions in regards to how a part or a function works on any one of your trucks for your end user. You get the opportunity to meet the manufacturer or meet somebody from the company to,
Yes, and I bet you almost if you have a situation, right, where you don't really know the exact answer for that, the need, for what your customer needs it for, you will find it there, right?
Absolutely.
Or even I have personally heard these stories, right, that people will have a customer that has a truck and it wasn't exactly the spec that it needed to be, and they would help them find other solutions for that, right?
Right.
That's just, I don't know, it's just fun and it's exciting, and I can't wait for us to connect afterwards to say, hey, these were all the really cool things that happened, and these people, this happened with this, they launched this and this new product. But there will be lots of success stories. And again, even if you, I can't imagine that it would happen this way, but even if you were just a fly on the wall and you didn't speak to anybody, think of all the things that you could absorb.
Right. Right.
You know,
I think it might be wise to even start gather your questions that you have.
yes.
You know, from your end users, from yourself in particular, how anything works that you don't quite understand. Give yourself the opportunity to just ponder on them, write them down, and maybe you'll find your answer there. You know, you get to come, like you were saying, absorbing, you get to come back with so much more sense of understanding. I know when I attended, I came back with like a renewed, invigorated perspective on like, this is what I want to do this year.
Well, I remember the first time I went, I was like, oh my word. So there is a reason why we have to have all these snowplows. Like there's a use case for every one of them, right? Like, I mean, like everything, seats, I mean, just a ton of stuff. Like it's just all there, and everybody's there for a purpose, right? To get a job completed or to meet a need, to put a truck to work. And that's the exciting part. So I would always recommend, just for knowledge, networking, right? Because I feel like if you're real in the game, right, you always have to be learning,
right?
You know, and what better place to learn than at Work Truck Week, when you can tap into tremendous amounts of resources, you know, all in one place, and not to mention all the fun things that go on in the evenings, right?
Right. And I mean, the cool thing about it is that there is a scheduling app that you can use. So you can put down all the things you're interested, you can highlight them and bookmark them for yourself so that you kind of stay on track. And, you know, there's so many breakout sessions to attend. There's so many incredible speakers. And I really highly advise that anybody attending take advantage of that. You know, I think that you even told me they hit record numbers, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they did last year. And then this year I had read where they had a record number of new exhibitors, right? So I think that puts over 500, 540 maybe, that they will have this year. I know that I worked on my planner, right? And I have like almost 200 things just marked, right? Some of those I'm not familiar with.
Right.
And want to, you know, connect with, and others is you know that these people are leaders in the space. They're going to bring something new, right? Like something to address the need, right? That are interested. And the Green Truck Summit, it kicks it off. So that's, you know, still fairly new part of all this, and that will be very interesting and fun to get that kicked off. And I just think it's going to be a lot, you know, a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Tell us more about the Green Truck Summit.
Well, like I said, it kicks it off. Ardina, don't ask me the date because I'm horrible with it. So Tuesday. And it was, it's for the Green Fleet, right? And so just support those efforts, and everyone comes, and it's 8 to 5. I do think that's right. A full day of sessions and talking about all the pain points, all the innovation, the partnerships. And I know you and I have probably chatted about EV in the past. There's just so much partnerships and technology marrying that goes on behind those relationships. So that will be key. And then a couple pretty nice sessions, and leaders that are speaking on that session that has dedicated large parts of their career to this, and very, very strong speakers, and always learning to advance that agenda forward.
Right. I mean, when you think about it as a whole, even going back to what you said about, over 40 new companies and 25 new exhibitors, I believe, when you think about it from a business aspect, when you think about it from a business standpoint, I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, that's just continued development, continued growth that really speaks to the industry as a whole, because, what is commercial but the development and the growth of businesses that serve a purpose, all of this makes the world go round. So to have everybody as a whole come together, and in particular new exhibitors, those are people that didn't get the showcase.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
and it's always fun because I'm like, okay, were they new, right? Like, is it like new technology? Is it like a whole new upfitter? I think that we will continue to see these things are changing, right? So I think we'll continue to see new people in the space that has a new mindset, has a mindset on finding a new solution, an efficient solution, right? Do things different, like not the standard. And I might be wrong, but I think we might see some of that this year.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, there's nothing like a fresh take, it's how we continue to develop as professionals. It's how we continue to develop as a sector. We have to constantly be innovating, or else, we get left behind. And at this point in life, technology can't fall behind, especially for safety. This is an opportunity for big changes for the way a vehicle operates, how we get to operate them. It's pretty fantastic in my opinion.
And the ride and drive. Yes. So that's always fun, right? So, a lot of EV, right, is in that. So if people have not got to experience that, it's always just a great time to do that. But I like it just because it's there, it's in your face, and these people are standing behind. And you also get to see, again, some of the collaborations where companies come together to bring a solution to the industry. So just super fun, lots of stuff.
It's a really great opportunity too, because I mean, we read about these updates, we hear about what's to come, or what new feature something has, but the ride and drive is really important because the way that you get to really experience it for yourself.
Yeah. And, I just think it just it's like I don't know how to explain it. There's probably some word for it, but it's like an industry within industry within the industry, right?
Oh,
right. Because, because we support like skilled trades and entrepreneurship, and every one of these things that are there, they also have that same thing behind it. That's making that happen. And it's just fun, a lot to learn. Again, most of it's resources, organizations, right? The clean city, the clean air, they're all there. The national fleet. I mean, there's just a lot of resources there just to help us all be better. And I know from me coming into the space over from retail years ago that I think it's because it's so much. I don't think nobody neglects to feed you information. It's just that it's so much you don't know where to start. So you have to absorb a little as you go, one bite at a time. And that's kind of how Work Truck Week is. I think that you could probably, it's like going to an amusement park. You could, find your favorite spot and probably hang there all day. right?
I love that you said that because that's what I was thinking in my head too. You know, it's like
No,
the professional Disneyland where you just you're like in awe, really.
but it is. It really is. Because, you know, sometimes when you're just in downtime or you're standing there waiting to speak to someone, but you hear all these conversations behind you, and it's like they're talking about something completely different, but you'll always hear these certain terms like safety and total cost of ownership, and because that's what everybody's end goal is, right? To, you know, make us to be the best that we can be. So excited, and I look forward to going. I look forward for us to connecting afterwards. I'll be there, and look to connect with as many people as I possibly can, and share some of that, Ardina. And if anyone's listening, I suggest that if you can't go this year, follow along, right? At least on social media, because those people are constantly posting stuff, pictures, and people are sharing things. It's just fun for our space for sure. And if you had any doubts or wondering or lingering of anything, you'll get a real pulse on it when you get to Work Truck Week for sure.
Yeah, and I look forward to hearing all of what you get to tell me when you report back, because I mean, to Candy's point, if you haven't been able to attend, do yourself a favor, because it really is a great opportunity for growth in all aspects of the word.
Yeah, you might even uncover something that you take an interest in, right?
Right. I mean, you get to open your eyes to something you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, it could be a whole different customer aspect for you, right?
Yeah.
You know, like,
serve your customers more.
Yes. I mean, because if you came into a dealership and, you know, maybe your dealership had just always sold flatbeds and service bodies, and you didn't explore a lot into cranes or, you know, just an example, right? Then you get up there and you make connections, you understand it more, right? You learn more, and now your toolbox is full, right? So you can start having different conversations, and those could lead for more opportunities. It's just fun. It's overall fun. I have never, in all of my years in this space, had anybody say it was a waste of my time. So
right.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't come back even with the slightest thought. You know, in fact, I wish that there were more opportunities for that.
Yeah. Well, few weeks, Ardina, we'll connect back and maybe share some, maybe even the coolest swag that I was able to get my hands on. If I don't have an example to show you, I'll always tell you about it.
Yeah, please do, because, you know, it's all of that.
Yes.
I still even, you know, have a lot of my swag from the years I attended. There's really nifty things, can openers. I'm pretty sure I won AirPods. You know, there's all sorts of opportunities there.
Thank you, Ardina.
Yeah, thank you, Candy. I appreciate the time taken as always.
Always. Talk soon.
Bye.